I'm Charla with Freezer Meals 101, and today I'm going to show you 2 ways to freeze zucchini. This year, our middle daughter decided that she wanted to grow a garden, and we don't have a lot of gardening experience, but we have grown zucchini before, and I know how prolific it can be. But I forgot to mention that to her, and so she planted an awful lot of zucchini seeds. So we have so much zucchini. We've already harvested quite a bit of it, but there's even more growing out there. So I need to get this stuff in the freezer so it doesn't go to waste. Now you can give away some zucchinis, but it's that time of year where a lot of people are giving away their zucchinis, so you can't probably offload as many as you need to. Therefore, if you don't want your food to go to waste, you can freeze it. So I'm going to show you the 2 ways today. The first way is we're going to take these giant zucchinis. This one's kind of funny shaped, but still very edible. And we are going to just slice the ends off and grate them. And then I'm going to measure those into 2-cup portions and freeze them in medium-sized freezer bags, making sure to get out all the air. The reason I'm doing 2 cups is a lot of my zucchini recipes, zucchini loaf, zucchini muffins, zucchini cake, those kind of things, call for either 1 or 2 cups. If it calls for 1 cup, I just usually go ahead and add 2 cups because I find that it just makes it more moist, and then you've got more nutrition in there too, because you've got to hide those vegetables for your kids. But also you can double the recipe. So I find that the 2-cup bags serve me really well. If you know that you're only going to be using 1 cup, then freeze them by all means in 1-cup portions. But we're going to do that. And so I'm going to get started on that before I explain the second method, because it's very different. So we're just going to get started here. Oh, I have to grab my compost bucket. Hold on 1 second. I'll be back. I gave these a good wash before I got started, and the reason I chose these 3 particular zucchinis to do with the grating is because the super large zucchinis, sometimes you get a lot of the seeds in the middle, and they don't work as well for cubing and using in recipes that way. So I find they're really perfect for grating, and then that way nothing goes to waste again, and it doesn't matter how much of that kind of seed area that you have. Whereas in a recipes, these don't always stand up as well because of the texture of the seed area being a lot, it's like squishier than the outside of the zucchini, and even that like kind of second layer out underneath the peel. So I keep my peels on when I grate the zucchini, and there's probably a faster way to grate, like using some kind of food processor or whatever, but I don't have that, and so I'm just gonna grate by hand. You can cut it into smaller portions just to make it easier to hold on to, which I'm going to do. And I'm gonna grate it onto a cutting board. You could do it on a plate, whatever works best for you. And then you'll just measure those out in 2-cup portions and put them in those freezer bags. Ooh, I should show you. This is how large I'm grating it. So I don't know if you can see that. You gotta zoom in on that. Is that helpful? I don't know. That's the section I'm using. Not the slices, not the itty bitty, and not the even itty bittier. So again, you want to take all the air that you can out of your freezer bag, because air is what causes freezer burn. So before you seal it, just when you're getting to the very end there, you want to take all the air out. If you want, you can even put a straw down in there and suck the air out. But I find that I'm pretty good at getting most of the air out on my own. So I just squish it to make it flat because it takes up less room in my freezer that way. And I have my first 2-cup bag. Now, I like to write on here with permanent marker the date, because then I know how long it's been in the freezer, because I usually grate zucchini every year. Even when we don't grow it ourselves, people usually ask us if we want some of their garden zucchini. So I want to use obviously the most recent, or not the most recent, but I want to use the oldest ones first and make sure that they're not too old. So you can label that right on here with permanent marker or with a label. I'm going to keep going here, and then I will pop back and I'll speed this part up so you don't have to watch me grate all these zucchinis, but and then I'll show you the second method. So that first zucchini yielded 7 cups of grated zucchini, and I just started on another one to finish off that last bag. We've got 8 cups of zucchini already grated and ready to go in the freezer in their 2-cup bags. If you're looking for great, easy freezer meal ideas, then I invite you to subscribe to me here, where usually I share freezer meal recipes, but occasionally I do things like today where I share some freezer tips for you and how to just stretch your food dollars a lot more. So the second method that we are going to be doing is we're going to take this zucchini that I have sliced and cubed, and we're going to get it ready to freeze. Now, we're actually going to blanch it, and then we're gonna lay it on a cookie sheet once it's done blanching and slightly cooled, and then we're gonna put it in a single layer in the freezer. We're gonna take it out on the cookie sheets and transfer it when it's fully frozen into freezer bags. Now, I know you're gonna ask me, do I have to blanch it? And the answer is no, you don't have to blanch your zucchini. You can freeze it without blanching. However, it will lose some of the color and it will lose some of the texture. So I prefer to blanch it, and I think if you do take the time to blanch it, you'll be glad later that you took the time. When you're actually doing it, you know, it is an extra step. Well, 2 if you count draining it. Now, some people blanch it and then they transfer it from the strainer into an ice bath, and you know, that completely stops the cooking process. What I prefer to do instead, because again, I am trying to shave time off, so what I do is I blanch it for less time, so 1 minute instead of 2 to 3 minutes, and then I just run it under cold water. So I don't completely stop the cooking process because it's not going into an ice bath, but I do like slow down the cooking process, and because it's only been in there for 1 minute, and I'm really strict about the minute, like I put a timer on, the minute it's done, I put it in the strainer and run it under cold water. So I find that this way works, and it saves me having to make an ice bath and having to make ice for that matter. I almost never have ice in my freezer. So probably because it's so full of meals. Anyway, I'm gonna go and get this put in the water, and then we will blanch that just 1 minute in boiling water, and then strained, run it under cold water, and then we're gonna come back to transfer it to the cookie sheet. So now I've got those trays in the freezer. They are blanched, which help them to maintain their color and texture, and the reason I have them laid out flat on cookie sheets is so that when I put them in a bag, they don't clump together, and then I can take them out if I need zucchini for a soup or stir fry, or for a casserole. And I actually have some really good recipes that use zucchini, and a lot of our freezer meal recipes actually use zucchini. And as long as I take it from frozen, put it in, freeze it again before it thaws, it was totally safe to use in freezer meal recipes. So I know this zucchini is not going to go to waste. Now, as for the grated zucchini, I am going to have to get baking if I don't want that to go to waste, because it only lasts 3 to 6 months in the freezer, maybe 9 months, but by then you're starting to get a little bit of freezer burn, I find. So anyway, if you would like to see what I make with the grated zucchini and see a baking video of all of those zucchini bread, zucchini muffins, zucchini cake, zucchini whatever, I don't know, let me know in the comments and I can do a video of that. If you have ideas for what I can do with all of this grated zucchini, then I am also open to suggestions, so you can go ahead and give me your favorite recipes in the comments. Thank you for joining me today to learn how to freeze zucchini. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day, guys, and happy cooking.